John 18. I read from the Institute for Scripture Research, the ISR, because it takes a direct translation from Hebrew to English, Greek to English, and Aramaic to English. Yah is the Elohim of the heavens and the earth, the first and the last and the only, and he's an extremely jealous El. He's so jealous that he doesn't even want the names of idols or mighty ones to come to our lips. And Yah is short for YahWeh, YahWeh, Yod He Vav He. It's like saying Daniel with an E. Wow, what is different and does matters when people say that Phil, Bob, Sam, and Aaron are the same name, because no, they're not. And no one in their right mind would ever believe that. And only a fool would believe that a hammer could force its creator to do anything, and there was no letter J in the Hebrew, Greek, or Aramaic text, because the letter J is about 600 years old, while the son of Elohim, Yehoshua, died on a stake for the sins of all of humanity over 2,000 years ago. In a direct translation from Hebrew to English, Yehoshua is Joshua, and I strongly believe that the son of Elohim's name, Yehoshua, means Yahweh is salvation. 18. Having said these words, Yehoshua went out with his taught ones beyond the Quidron, Q-I-D with a line underneath of it, R-O-N, torrent. The Quidron torrent. Two different words. Quidron and then torrent is T-O-R-R-E-N-T. Lowercase. Quidron is the only one with a capital Q. Where there was a garden into which he and his taught ones entered, and Yehuda, who delivered him up, also knew the place, because Yehoshua often met there with his taught ones. Yehuda, then having received the company of soldiers and officers from the chief priests and Pharisees, came there with lanterns and torches and weapons. Yehoshua, then knowing all that would come upon him, went forward and said to them, Whom do you seek? They answered him, Yehoshua of Nazareth. Yehoshua said to them, I am, and Yehuda, who delivered him up, was also standing with them. When therefore he said to them, I am, they drew back and fell to the ground. Once more he asked them, Whom do you seek? And they said, Yehoshua of Nazareth. Yehoshua answered, I said to you that I am. If then you seek me, allow these to go, in order that the word might be fulfilled which he spoke of those whom you have given me, I have lost none. Then Shimon Kepha, having a sword, drew it and struck the high priest's servant, and cut off his right ear, and the servant's name was Melech, M-E-L-E-K, with a line underneath of it. Then Yehoshua said to Kepha, Put your sword into the sheath. Shall I not drink the cup which my father has given me? Then the company of soldiers and the commander and the officers of the Yehudim seized Yehoshua and bound him, and they led him away to Hanan first, H with a dot, A-N-A-N, first, for he was the father-in-law of Quayapha, Q-A-Y-A-P-H-A, who was high priest that year. What does it change every year? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised with all these idol worshippers. Now Quayapha was the one who gave counsel to the Yehudim that it was better that one man should die for the people. And Shimon Kepha followed Yehoshua with another taught one, and that taught one was known to the high priest, and went with Yehoshua into the courtyard of the high priest. But Kepha was standing outside at the door, so the other taught one, who was known to the high priest, went out and spoke to her who kept the door, and brought Kepha in. Then the servant girl who kept the door said to Kepha, You are also one of this man's taught ones. He said, I am not. And the servants and officers who had made a fire of coals stood there because it was cold, and they warmed themselves, and Kepha was standing with them and warmed himself. Then the high priest asked Yehoshua about his taught ones and his teaching. Yehoshua answered him, I spoke openly to the world. I always taught in the congregation and in the set-apart place, unlike me who does it on YouTube by himself, where the Yehudim always meet, and I spoke no word in secret. Why do you ask me? Ask those who have heard me what I said to them. See, they know what I said. And when he had said this, one of the officers who stood up slapped Yehoshua in the face, saying, "Do you answer the high priest this way?" Yehoshua answered him, "If I have spoken evilly, bear witness of the evil, but if well, why do you strike me?" Then Hanan sent him bound to the high priest Caiaphas, and Shimon Kepha was standing and warming himself. Then they said to him, "Are you also one of his taught ones?" He denied it and said, "I am not." That's the second time he's denied him. One of the servants of the high priest, a relative of the one whose ear Kepha cut off, said, "Did I not see you in the garden with him?" Then Kepha again denied him, and immediately a cock crowed. Then they led Yehoshua from Caiaphas to the palace, and it was early, and they themselves did not go into the palace, lest they should be defiled, but that they might eat the Pesach, the Passover. Pilate, Pilate, therefore came out to them and said, "What accusation do you bring against this man?" They answered and said to him, "If he were not an evildoer, we would not have delivered him up to you." Liars. Then Pilate said to them, "You take him and judge him according to your law." The Yehudim said to him, "It is not right for us to put anyone to death, in order that the word of Yehoshua might be filled, which he spoke, signifying by what death he was about to die." Then Pilate went back into the palace and called Yehoshua and said to him, "Are you the sovereign of the Yehudim?" Yehoshua answering him, "Do you say this for yourself, or did others talk to you about me?" Pilate answered, Am I a Yehudi, Yehud, with a line underneath of it, I? Your own nation and the chief priests have delivered you to me. What did you do?" Yehoshua answered, "My reign is not of this world. If my reign were of this world, my servants would fight, so that I should not be delivered to the Yehudim, but now my reign is not from here." Then Pilate said to him, "You are a sovereign then." Yehoshua answered, "You say it because I am a sovereign. For this I was born, and for this I have come into the world, that I should bear witness to the truth. Everyone who is of the truth hears my voice." Pilate said to him, "What is truth?" And when he had said this, he went out again to the Yehudim and said to them, "I find no guilt in him, but you have a habit that I shall release someone to you at the Pesach. Do you wish then that I release to you the sovereign of the Yehudim?" Then they all shouted again, saying, "Not this one, but Barabbas, Barabba, and Barabbas was a robber." Not only was he a robber, he was a murderer, and he started an uprising. He killed a lot of innocent people. A habit, you mean a tradition, a man-made tradition, like washing your hands before you eat, is a man-made tradition.